Um, Hiya, and welcome back to the podcast, the Rugby League podcast. Now, I got in a bit of trouble last time for not introducing Wayne because, to be honest with you, I completely forgot he was here. He was boring me a little bit, so I thought I'd ignore him. So I'd just like to firstly apologise for forgetting about Wayne, and secondly introduce Wayne. So as we all know, this is Wayne Berry, um, one of the mouthiest Swinton fans in the world, but a decent guy when you get to know him. He accused me of being a little bit like Marmite the other day, which I was slightly offended at, but I can honestly say this guy's exactly the same. So it's probably the reason we get on so well. even though I'll deny that we get on.
Oh yeah, we do get on, but I think Marmite is a fair reflection of how I see things. But it's good to be back. It's good to get a nice introduction along with the other stars we have on the podcast. So it's good to be back.
Well, yeah. I thought when I started this podcast, when I caught the idea, I sort of thought it'd be like a bit of a laugh and it'd be laughing jokes all the time. And I never really appreciated that the day had come that we'd put in a bad performance and we'd have to come on and do a podcast. And third game into the season, here we are. Typical Swinton fans, absolutely wounded after yesterday. But if I may, and I spoke a little bit about this with Ian Bailey as well. So, all right, Bailey, thanks for watching. It really hurt yesterday, the result, and probably the manner of the result and stuff like that. But with COVID and everything, we should be happy that we've even got a team to watch. And I think the joy of the first about three, the friendly victory against Bradford, couple of decent results when we didn't play very well. The joy was like really high. And then yesterday, the hurt was even worse. And I don't know whether you get hardened to the hurt when it happens a lot and you're feeling that pain a lot. But so we sort of should be grateful that we've got a team back that can hurt us. I'm right. I'm gutted. Don't get me wrong. I'm absolutely gutted because I think we're in for a tough April now and start of May. And I think it was a really good opportunity for us to start the season with a little bit of intent, throw 2 points on the board. And I think we've really, really missed an opportunity. What do you think about that, Wayne?
I think, yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I've sort of forgot how tough it is to go to games to get beat in the past. I mean, it might have happened to my own room yesterday watching it on the TV, but it still genuinely felt tough. And I mean, just to put it out there now, I've not wrote no notes, no nothing. It's just how I remember or what I sort of seen of the game. And it's tough. It is tough. There's been a lot of positives done. Everyone's worked off behind the scenes and, you know, the pride builder fund, everything. The players, the club have gone above and beyond and give everything you need. But let's be totally honest. Everything that matters generally happens after kick-off and before full time. That is the catalyst that keeps everything else ticking along. Because I'm here for everything, Swinton. I'll shout from the rooftop, but I'm also here to win. You know what I mean? And we understand we can't win all the games. But the games we should win, maybe yesterday's game, I can't accept that sort of, excuse the pun, but sitting down. You know what I mean? I think it was tough to take yesterday. I had it didn't enter my head, if I'm honest, that we weren't going to win that game. I thought we'd beat them the week before, probably not playing too well, you know, if he impacted, etc. A few players out. And I'm hoping, and it's not an excuse, because it certainly is bad if it is the case, but I'm hoping that maybe the players thought that game was won before they got off the coach yesterday. Because if it is that, that's something that's relatively easy to fix.
Yeah.
But from across the field yesterday, we did not look right.
No. I'd agree with that. I think the worrying thing for me was we've heard how fit the players are at the moment. And I know it's a quick turnaround, Sunday to Friday, but it's exactly the same for Oldham.
Yeah.
And I think the lack of energy for me worried me. We had that period of sort of 20 minutes before half time, and I thought, oh, we've nailed it here now. We got on a roll. The forwards were sort of crashing through, and I was genuinely thinking we had it in the bag. We'd come out second half and we'd blow them away. And what I don't want to do, I don't want to sort of slag the team off and say like, oh, this player was rubbish and that player was rubbish, because I don't want to do that. They pull on a Swinton shirt. I absolutely love them to bits. In fact, Will Hope actually put a tweet out this morning saying that he basically had gone to work today. So, and this morning, and these lads they're grafting all week, and then they're turning out for Swinton at weekend, and then they're grafting again straight away the day after. So I don't want to sort of rip into them too bad, but I don't know if our attitude was wrong yesterday.
Sorry, I agree with that, Barney. I think I'm not here to. Yeah, I'm just judging this as the Swinton team. I'm not going to break it down into individual players. They go on the field together. You know what I mean? Some players play good, some players play bad. It's a whole thing. So I'm not going to sit here and strip players back. It's not about that. We understand, like you say, work and all that. But let's be honest. It's about the game. You know what I mean? Everything else that goes off behind the scenes that's all another issue. However, to the actual playing of the game, like you say, they just didn't look up for the game, if I'm honest. Just we have looked relatively fit in the other games, where yesterday we looked like we were shredding water. We just looked like nobody had any like snap in the step or whatever you would want to call it. Just it was no like goal. And and then there was a few things we did ourselves, talking back to referees, red cards, things like this. I think we're probably going to get onto referees, and that would maybe lead us onto it. But these silly things you do yourself that give referees opportunity, you know what I mean? And them things you can absolutely cut out. Even near the end of the game, I forget the score. I think at a point it was probably 28-20, I think, obviously near the end. And we sort of throwing it left and people stood flat-footed. And where in the Newcastle game and things like that, every time Newcastle come back at us, we had that pep in our step where we just banged and we scored another try.
Yeah.
So every time they got back in, we just finished it off again, where that certainly was not there yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, we've heard a lot about how we're like one of the fittest squads in this league, and I don't. Is it a potential that we're overtraining or something? That when we're turning up, we're not. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, like I say, I'm a little bit clueless. We definitely look a better side with Luke Waterworth hooking. Definitely do. Do you know what I mean? Like you say, we're giving silly penalties. I watched the Salford game. Big shout out to all the Salford fans that watch us, because I know that there really is a few of us watching. Ginger Joe Begley thinks he's a big man. He watches here and he'll send me messages later on. So, all right, you Salford maggot. Yeah, Salford did it today, giving stupid penalties away, giving the referee a chance to blow the whistle and call you. And as soon as you get yourself noticed for doing stupid thing, cheap shot, and you're making it difficult for everybody. So I think we sort of lacked a little bit of creativity.
Yeah, I've seen people on there, and straight away the default thing is to come in and blame the referee. I'm pretty sure players are not going back to the dressing room thinking they've lost that game for referee decisions. If I'm honest, there were some calls that was crazy at times or whatever. Okay, the Rodri Lloyd try looked like he got it down on the screen. Yeah. You may argue the Waterworth try didn't look like he got it down on the screen. I still have no clue what happened under the stick for the Jack Hansen try. Yeah. I don't know what happened in that situation. But again, there's things that go either way. there is way more chance for us in that game to win that game with or without the referee.
Yeah.
So, and I think by sometimes just jumping on the referee, it's just an easy cop out. Don't give yourself that cop out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're doing enough.
No player turns up in the morning of a game to lose that game, to not give 100%. Every player that pulls that shirt on and steps over the whitewash gives 100%, yeah? Because if you don't, you get hurt. It's as simple as that, yeah? You don't give it your all, you're getting hurt. And it's the same with referees. No referee wakes up any morning and thinks, oh, do you know what, I'm gonna have a bad game today. And they don't. And a few people have sort of been on the backs of the referees. If you don't like what the referees do, get off your backside and become a referee. But people won't. People won't do it. And to be fair, people will say, "Well, you two mugs don't turn out for Swinton," and we don't. But because we're not good enough.
I keep going for trials, but they're just not having it.
I'm like the Happy Gilmore that keeps going for the ice hockey trials after about 50 years, and I'm still not getting there. But
I think when I look at it as well, it's all right. Let's say Roger Lloyd got his try down. All right, so we got beat 28-26. Are you happy now? You know what I mean? I'm not.
No.
You know what I mean? I don't care if he got it down or not. We're still losing that game.
And
the winning, for example, when it went to 26-20, talking back to the referee, basically put that game to bed because I think they took a bit forward, didn't they? And then took the kick the goal, and the game's over at that point. And you give the referee that opportunity. But again, I don't see that players won't be looking at that as an excuse. It's easy to criticise a referee because he's nothing to you. But there was 101 things that we did not do right yesterday, let alone a referee who maybe did make a couple of calls wrong.
Yeah, I mean, the RFL don't make it easy for referees. Let's face facts. They change rules every other week. Every other week, there's a new stupid rule coming in. And we'll get onto the ball strip rule in a minute. Then you've got your referees turning out on in Super League, and what's it called? I forget his name. Referee the other week, and he's the fattest referee I've ever seen. He looked like a pink Teletubby. He was absolute. I'm like, what? This is the pin. You would not see the Premier League in football putting a referee out that was 2 stone overweight. And the guy was.
I know you're on about, but I can't remember his name. I can't. I'm not going to say so. Yeah, he did. You know, yeah.
But to be fair play to him, he didn't have a bad game. He refed it all right. But the guy's a unit. He's absolutely massive, and it gives people a chance to target the referees, and it's not fair. Yeah. These other referees that do the fitness, that eat right, and you see them and they look like whippets, and it's not fair on them that are putting the hard work in and the training. That some guy that looks like he's just been dragged out of the boozer to referee because the real referee's stuck in traffic. They dress him up as a pink Teletubby and they send him out in front of the Sky cameras. And to be fair, he didn't have a bad game, but it's about protecting yourselves, and the RFL aren't doing it right.
It gives fans that chance to pick up on that.
Yeah.
And then when you've had a bad game, when your team's lost, it gives you an opportunity to throw at that. But like you just mentioned there, the ball steal. I want to be clear about this. I'm not using this as an excuse to lose the game.
Yeah.
Right? I've seen this in some of the Super League games. This new ball steal rule is unpoliced. You can't police it.
Unpoliceable.
Yeah. Unpoliceable. Yeah, that's the one. You just can't police it. I like the rule before. It gives you that opportunity in certain situations to strip a player, to strip a ball off a player. And it was, if 2 men had been in, that was it. It was a 2-man tackle.
Yeah.
So if 4 men had been in, if they left the tackle, it was still considered a 2-man tackle, right? So you can't strip the ball. This new rule, it almost makes it impossible for the referee. He cannot see in a split second who's still touching, who's not touching. In effect, I could hold your arms in a tackle. My opponent can get hold of that ball, and I know it's unrealistic, but on the count of 3, I let go and he rips that ball out. And yes, he stole that ball one-on-one, but I basically pulled your arms off it. Now, I know we're being a bit, what if there sort of thing, but I just think it's a rule that you will see all this season. There will be countless times where you're like, well, that is definitely 2 men. And because it's the new rule, you can see already referees are more inclined to let it go as a one-on-one because they've been told if they've let go, it's one-on-one. And like I say, it's an impossible thing to sort of keep an eye on.
I agree with you, but I think even that's an excuse. We know what's going to happen. And no word of a lie, that Dupree yesterday took the ball off one of our props.
Now, absolutely.
Everybody knows what the rule is. Everybody's been given the same guidance. Look after the ball. Earn the right to play that ball. And that's what we didn't do yesterday. We didn't look after the ball. And the rule's the same for everybody, right? I can strip it off the opposition players. Opposition can strip it off me. Yeah? You're running a tightrope if you do it. Do you know what I mean? Fair play. But it should give the tacklee, the person that's getting tackled, they should now know that somebody's going to try ripping the ball off them. So protect the ball, earn the right to play the ball, and earn the right to get your team on a roll. I mean, I'll tell you what. I think the best player that we've got for doing it is Gmo. I don't think I've seen them put Gmo on his back yet. No. So he's always on the front, and if he's on his front, he's never going to get the ball taken off him because he's on top of the ball.
The way I look at it is, if I'm a coach, I say to my prop forwards, they're going to come in and they're going to try to rip the ball off you. There's a new rule. It's more likely that the halfback is going to try and rip that ball off you. But what I would also explain to my prop is there's also a new rule for you. If you're a prop forward or a larger player and an halfback, so much as he puts his hands on that ball, you are well entitled to swing him round and throw him over the nearest stand. Because if they're going to come in and try and get that ball, you better make them work for it. You know what I mean? It's like you said, the ball is going to be up for grabs now. And to a certain extent, it makes it exciting, doesn't it? It's a chance. Yeah. In the last minutes of the game, trying to get a win, you can go in and steal that ball if you're clever about it. But you have to be aware of that. And like I say, I'm not throwing it as an excuse for the loss. I'm giving no refereeing excuses for our loss yesterday. But just as a rugby fan, I think that is a rule that's going to play out this year that fans are like, that's impossible.
Yeah.
You're just not going to be able to police it.
Yeah, and it's another example of what I was saying before. It's the RFL not looking after the referees. It's the RFL going, do you know what? You're on your own, lads. And make it easier for the refs, not more difficult for them. It's like rugby union. You watch rugby union, it's the most boring sport in the world. And there's about 3 million penalties that you can give away at the ruck. And the referee blows up and nobody can go, oh, it was for that. Because nobody knows. And it's just like, whatever. And rugby league's getting that way now. It's like you're getting, like yesterday with Jack's penalty try. Nobody's got a clue what that penalty try was given for. If I was an Oldham fan, I'd be going,
do we know? Sorry. Do we know if, was it a penalty try?
It seemed to be, yeah. Because he didn't get the ball down, did he?
I thought Jack was tackled, obviously, as he went over. And I thought the ref had seen it. The ball's gone backwards. And then, was it Ridyard who picked it up? Was it?
Possibly.
I don't know.
I
can't remember. Whoever picked it up and put it over, I sort of thought, as the ref just give eventually play on, the ball's come out, it's gone back. But he seemed like he gave the try more under the sticks. I know it was near the sticks. So it seemed like he gave the penalty try. But I don't know what went on.
So, I'm just looking on the BBC website now, and Hansen has been credited with the try.
Right. So if that's a penalty try, that says to me he's either hitting late or high. Because Jack looked a bit out of it, didn't he, when he hit the floor?
Oh, yeah.
So if he's hitting late or maybe high, which is maybe, if you like, knocked him out, and that's why he's dropped the ball, I thought that is a penalty where you then get a penalty under the sticks. Or is that only if they come in really late and flop?
No,
I'm not sure.
I think a penalty try, there's an 8-point penalty try and a 6-point penalty try. So a 6-point penalty try is when you're going over to score and you get fouled out before you score, right? Then you get the 4 points for the try, and then they move the kick to in between the posts, and you take the kick from there. An 8-point penalty try is where you are fouled after you've scored. Then you take the original kick. And this is now, I might be wrong on this, but I think you take the original kick from where the ball was grounded, and then you get another 2-pointer from in between as like the penalty in front of the sticks. So then that's your 8-point try. So that's what I thought was now, I could be wrong on that. I'm not a referee. I don't know. I'm just some muppet who watches a game. But I think
again, though, I think Oldham fans are looking at a couple of our tries, maybe saying, "Oh, I don't think that was a try." So again, you swing around about.
Yeah, did Luke get that ball down? I don't know. Yeah, but the ref give it. I don't know. It's very, very 50-50. Give the benefit of the doubt to the attacking side. Fair enough. The Jack Hansen one. So if they'd have got beat, Oldham fans would have been able to look at that and go, well, there was a couple of dodgy decisions that they've got. So over the course of the season, over the course of the 80 minutes, they even themselves out. And there's no point. There's very few refs that have a bad game just for one team. Very few refs.
I just think, going back to the game, if we break it down a bit, I just thought we looked sluggish from the get-go.
Yeah.
And I understand we're not a big forward, steamrolling team. But, and let's be honest, it's probably been similar in the first Oldham game and the Newcastle game. We've not really been able to get really good field position. You know what I mean? Let's be honest. If we're going to compete up to that 6th spot, that's a big if, teams like Oldham, you should be dominating for 67 minutes of a game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm not saying winning 100-0, but you should have the field position. You should have the forward momentum, the roll on the forwards, and then the backs come off that. Where yesterday it was worrying that we didn't have any of that. And obviously, because we're not getting that forward roll, then off the back of that, we don't get the gaps to use our, if you like, more speedy players. I mean, Ridyard got hit way more than I would expect our halfback to getting hit yesterday, which then led on to the next issue that he weren't there to put the kicking on the 5th tackle, etc. and things. So there was 101 things that we did wrong yesterday. And I suppose the worrying bit is, I hope to God that was simply just, we got off the coach thinking we won that game.
Yeah,
because then sometimes when the shit's hit the fan and it's 60 minutes in, it's hard to go to 3rd gear and 4th gear then.
Yeah.
If you've not actually got your head up. I hope to God that's what it is, because out of everything, that's the easiest thing to put right.
Yeah, I mean,
so the problem is we've got some tough games coming up.
Yeah, that's it. We've got. You look down that league table, and for me, Oldham was the game that I was pinpointing for an easy 2 points.
Yeah,
there was this Oldham, there's Whitehaven, and there's Batley. Is it Batley I'm thinking of, or what's the other one? Dewsbury. I look at them 3 games and I think, right, we've got to be beating every single one of them. Then you've got to look at your teams like Halifax and that sort of middle group, and then you've got to be thinking, right, well, we need to beat them at home, and then maybe away. Newcastle, we've got to beat Newcastle when we play them away. Do you know what I mean? They're the games, and I don't know, because let's face it, we didn't play particularly well the first 2 competitive matches we played, and we picked up 2 victories, right? have we started believing our press a little bit?
That's the thing, yeah.
Because everybody,
I mean,
even the RFL put a tweet out this week saying who's going to be like the biggest surprise package in the championship, and they had a Swinton picture on it. And if the RFL are doing that, obviously we're making waves somewhere. So have we started just believing our press before we've put the hard work in?
I hope that is the case. Not that I hope that should happen. It shouldn't happen. But again, if that was the case yesterday, that's out of the all possible some answers, that's the easiest one to knock on the head, in it. Because if you was thinking that, you ain't thinking that this morning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So again, hopefully, if that is the case, that's, because like we said, the club have done everything they can. They provided, a pretty top-notch gym from what led to believe at the AJFL. They bought them obviously the trust and other things have been involved, but just talking generally, the club have been providing the state-of-the-art, training devices that we have Stu and Alan talking about. Obviously, the pride builder was dug deep off the fans and provided players, and so on. The players have been given every opportunity. You know what I mean? And from what I understand, the players are being treated like professional rugby league players.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We got the coach to the game yesterday. We're still trying to keep it as a traditional match day sort of experience. And they've got off the coach, and you want them to be in gear to go. Because, like I said earlier, I'm here to back the team, and I'm here to, all the rest of it, the raffles, the shirts, everything.
Yeah.
I'm here to win. You know what I mean? And that is, like I said earlier, we have every right when we lose. Certainly when we lose against a team that, let's be brutal about it, they're a new team up. If you're going to do anything, beat them home and away, let's just, you know what I mean, call it what it is. We have every right to be a little bit upset. And I was genuinely devastated yesterday. Because I've seen the bigger picture, as in, if we're not beating over, who are you going to be? That's what I generally thought, and that is worrying.
Fair play to Oldham. In Matt Diskin, they've got a guy that's been played at the highest level, knows his stuff, knows his rugby league.
Yeah.
An organised team. They've got a big set of angry props, and then they've got a little bit of trickiness behind that. Do you know what I mean? So, they executed the basics really well. They weren't throwing out wild passes. They weren't. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't Harlem Globetrotters style rugby league. You know what I mean? It was a typical bang it in, 5 drives, bit of trickiness coming up to the last couple of plays.
We joked last week, didn't we, about how much smoke they blew up Ridyard. Right now, obviously we did that a bit tongue in cheek. However, they absolutely did their homework on it yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Because they completely took them out of the game.
Yeah.
And again, we also noticed in the first game, like you just said, throwing it about a bit too much. They made a lot of errors. They cut that way down yesterday. So you know what I mean? We've got to give all them credit that they learned from their mistakes the week before. They learned to take Ridyard out of the game. They learned you can't keep losing the ball when you're in an attacking position. And like I say, early on yesterday, when they scored, and they scored a second try, I thought, this is different because they weren't getting these tries last week. They weren't coming that easy. I understand they scored 14 points, but it took a lot of effort for Oldham to get a try last week. They had countless balls, didn't they? Countless sets to get them tries. Early on yesterday, I thought, this is coming a little bit too easy for them. Yeah. We're finding gaps, and that was worrying.
And like we say, I mean, they say one swallow doesn't make a summer. One bad game doesn't ruin a season.
No, I agree.
It was the one where we could have put the marker down. And I think that's what's disappointed me the most. And like I've said, I have the utmost respect for every lad that pulls on that jersey, for every lad that trains 2 or 3 times a week, plays of a weekend, gives up time with the friends and the family, they eat the right food. Do you know what I mean? They do everything to be as professional as they can be. I have the utmost respect from that. But yesterday, something wasn't quite right. And I know he's due. And speaking to him over the couple of podcasts we did him and speaking to Alan, I know that they're going to be hurting just as much as we are.
Absolutely.
And and I know that come the next training session, they'll have a really, really honest chat about it.
Yeah.
And that's what it needs, that honesty, that dialogue, that, do you know what? It wasn't good enough.
I think people have got to realise, obviously, we've been doing these podcasts for a few weeks now, obviously, during when there was no rugby. And hey, we're all here to be positive. We're all here to promote everything. But if we're going to continue to do these, sometimes, like today, it's going to come after a result that is less than acceptable.
Yeah.
And we are fans. I say it over and over again. The best part of being sports fans, whether you're a Swinton fan or a United fan or whatever, the game is only 2 hours a week. But what we do there that keeps that, your blood ticking over about it and keeps it on the tip of your tongue, we talk shit about it for days after.
Yeah.
Excuse my language, but that is what we do. That is what makes football so big. Because every day in the paper, there's a story about this, a story about that, and people at work and in the pubs and all that, but wherever they've gone nowadays. But, soon we'll be back in there. But, people just talk about it, the good and the bad and the ugly. And that is just how it is sometimes. Like I say, we are absolutely supporting the club in every way. But sometimes there'll come a result where you've just got to say it as it is. If yesterday's result was maybe against an Halifax, you had a really good result against London this year. But that was a bit funny. But if that result had come against one of them top half teams, let's call it, you could maybe have seen some positives. But I'll be absolutely honest, because of who we played, I struggle to find a single positive. And that might be harsh, but that's just how it is. And I think sometimes you just got to say, that's how it is. I fully back Stu and Alan, like you just said. They're not going to take that nonsense sitting down. You know what I mean? People are going to understand that we don't accept that. You know what I mean? Fans don't accept it. Stu and Alan won't accept it. The board won't accept it.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure the players won't accept it.
Yeah.
So sometimes you've just got to say, listen, that's how it was. It was pretty bad, and we've got Warrington next week. So the worst can happen. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what could possibly go wrong against Warrington? Was it 114-0 last time we played them or something like
12.
that? 12. Sorry.
Calm down.
Yeah. And I think I just want to echo those sentiments. And like I say, and I've mentioned it a couple of times, sort of a bit tongue-in-cheek, I know how to wind up Fletch and Steve Wild. I know what buttons to press with them. And but for what they've done for the club, I've got nothing but the utmost respect. And like I say, as much as I can wind them up about their whole family and have them both hopping mad about it and calling me not fit to burn, from a rugby front, I appreciate what they do. And I'm laughing because it's funny. And so it's that side of it. And I know they'll be hurting just as much as us. But when I started training years and years and years ago, I went training with my dad and some of his mates and stuff like that. And my dad said to me, he said, choose one person who you want to play like and copy what they do in training. And I've sort of stuck with that mantra throughout when I've had different jobs and this, that, and the other. And I think as a Swinton fan, as weird as this may sound, because the guy's a full-on oddball, Spelly is a sort of Swinton fan that I look to for a little bit of advice and leadership. And Bailey as well, Ian Bailey to a certain extent. But it's like I knew the renaming of Swinton to Manchester was wrong when I saw Spelly's reaction to it. Yeah, when me and Spelly are walking on the middle of a pitch and he's putting his flag and his shirt down because that's it, it's not Swinton anymore. I knew I'd made the right decision. And it's the same thing with this. And Spelly and Bailey have got this board. They say they're doing it right and they know they're doing it. And that's good enough for me. That is good enough for me because if their attitude's right, I'll say that every day. So we just
all you want from your board is to build the best squad possible. I think we're doing that. We've done that. And then you want them to build an environment that them players can be the best it can be. Yeah? For example, the training equipment, the gyms, etc., etc. And by all accounts, we are doing, the board are doing everything they can to tick them boxes.
Yeah.
So therefore, we can call it whatever we want. It is absolutely then down to the players to perform at 3 o'clock, generally 3 o'clock on a Sunday. It is that's it. It's on them. You know what I mean? And we understand there will be bad days. You know what I mean? Yesterday was a bad day. But us coming on here chatting about it, we're just fans talking about the game that happened yesterday. It's not to say, we weren't happy with the games before. We've enjoyed the wins and the cup wins, and we'll enjoy more wins in the future. But sometimes you just got to come on and just say as it is, and that's it.
Do you think that it'd have been a different result if the fans had been there? Because let's face it, when Swinton are struggling, we get behind them as fans, more so than any other team that I've ever watched, possibly other than Warrington. Warrington's fans are really good at it, yeah? But other than them, I don't think any other team in rugby league gets the backing off their fans as much as Swinton does. Because you read...
Go on, sorry.
You read the League Express on a Monday. Every other week, Swinton fans are getting a mention in it. When we're playing. And because we're loud, we're all bonkers, we've all had a drink. It's like, and for that 90 minutes, we're the 18th man, as it were. So do you think that might have, the players aren't as sort of up for it because they've not...
Again, you would think that having fans there makes a difference, but it works both ways, doesn't it? They'd have had fans there as well, but whatever. But yeah, I mean, maybe the fans could turn that game round a little bit. But that said, they've done quite well without the fans there in the last couple of games. So again, as much as fans could be there, and let's be honest, we all can't wait to get there. Even though I quite enjoy watching it on telly and that, and you can all that lot, but you missed a day out being at the games. But again, that's the same for all of them. I tend not to like to, and I'm not saying you were doing it, but I tend not to like to put an excuse on the table. I don't like COVID. It's the same for everyone. Well, there's no fans, but it's the same for everyone. Players are working. As much as we absolutely respect that, it's the same for most of them in that division. We didn't play Featherstone, that got full time. So that doesn't really, come into it. The referee, that happens. Sometimes, I think, and it was yesterday, sometimes the players have just got to sit down and say, for whatever reason, we didn't show up today.
Yeah.
And for that reason, we will absolutely show up next time. And again, I'm not on about Warrington. I don't care about that. It is what it is. You know what I mean? Featherstone's going to be tough, but you're looking for an absolute performance, aren't you? And you'll take what comes out of that. But, and then you're not going forward into games where them good performances will get you a result. So, sometimes I just like to, it is what it is, and that's it. You know what I mean? Yesterday was bad. It was really bad. But we've got it off our chest. Are you not drinking today, Barney, after that?
Oh, result? Yeah, right. Let's do wine o'clock then. Yeah, let's...
All right, okay then. Let's go.
Right, so I went to Tesco today to get me 2 litre bottles of £2.5p cider. And while I was there, I noticed this new lager, and I'll show it you there. It's called Rockshaw, and it's an Irish lager. It's 4%. It tastes all right. £9 for 12 cans. Happy days. It'll get me tuned in. So you can't ask any more than that. So
sorry, because of the result. I mean, even I made the sauce today. I had a couple of shandies yesterday, but I've gone for the old craft lager. I think it's a tap room, or I can see it there.
Yeah.
It's only 2%. But hey,
right.
I've got to drive. You know what I mean? I've got to drive this chair today. So that's... But yeah, I just thought I'd go for a nice light craft lager. I seen the can and I thought I'm having that. Lovely. So that's where we're up to. But, I had a couple of jandies for the game last night. Only a little bit, you know what I mean? I'm not a complete boss. But, and that's where we're up to. But going forward, I feel I might start drinking. I think the reason I've stopped drinking is because the season's not been on. I think the reason I might have to start drinking again is because the season's on. So, you know what I mean? I think that's just how it's going to be.
So, yeah.
But,
So I must admit, I'd had my second COVID jab on Thursday, and yesterday I felt rough as toast, and I didn't drink. I didn't drink at all. And funnily enough, my missus is working today, so I was left in charge of doing the shopping on my own, and I've just come back with a load of booze. So she's going to be fuming when she gets home. But I'm going to be tuned in, so I won't care. So I've got 2 weeks off now. Happy days.
You just deal with it tomorrow, can't you?
Yeah,
you know, come to you tomorrow. You can deal with it.
Yeah, a couple of paracetamols in the morning. It's like, check, we'll deal with this after 10 o'clock. And then, yeah, you know how it is. So, right. Anyway, anything else you want to add?
Like I say, just to end on a slightly positive note, because I'm not happy, but yesterday was what it was. I'm hoping maybe we've turned up in the wrong frame of mind. Get past Warrington, whatever happens. I'm not interested. We need a good performance, at least a good performance against Featherstone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're not on here to be negative and dig anyone out or whatever. But I like talking about the games. That's what it is. The good, the bad, the ugly. I like talking about the games. So don't come at us if you think it's been a bit negative. It just is what it is. You know what I mean? We're fans. We love winning. We hate losing. And we like talking about both. That's it.
Yeah. And if you have got an issue with it, pop something in the comments section, because we've not been pushing our comments section, have we? So comment on. I'll put this on Facebook as well as on YouTube. Stick a comment in it. Tell us we're idiots. Tell us you agree with us. Tell us that we're wild in the mark or whatever. We don't care. Just a little bit of engagement. Share this video as much as you can, because we do need to get the name of Swinton out there a little bit more, and that's why we're doing it, because we all actually love the club. And I think for me, the one thing I will say is, if you are feeling the hurt, like me, Wayne, and pretty much everybody else I spoke to today, if you are feeling that hurt, enjoy it, because at least we've got a game to feel hurt about. And do you know what I mean? If we were a Staley Bridge fan, or you know what I mean, lower league football or lower league rugbies or whatever, I mean, them down the road in Rochdale still haven't played a game yet. So, and we're sort of 4 games in now, aren't we? 3 games in. And so enjoy the hurt and enjoy. Don't get me wrong. I'm not using that as an excuse saying, oh, stop your moaning. Have a moan. Tell us we're idiots. Agree with us, whatever. But just enjoy the fact that we've got a decent team to watch, that are cared for by people, and the club's in the safest hands that it's been in for as long as I can remember. So
absolutely. I'd also like to add, if you play a team, i.e. Oldham, twice in a week, and you have a mobile phone with a camera on it, and you're going to put videos out there, probably best to keep your mouth shut and not put predictions out there, i.e. myself. Because, you know, I was fully confident that he was getting it. And it's out there. Well done to Oldham. You come with a game plan. You put it out there. We'll be back.
Yeah.
We'll be back and we'll be stronger next time. So that's it. It is what it is.
Take care of yourselves. Like I say, share the shit out of it. If you like it, if you don't like it, tell us we're idiots, whatever. Thanks for watching. And like I say, hopefully next time after the Warrington game, we'll be having a little bit happier chat and feel a little less. Because let's face it, everybody expects us to get dicked. So what does it matter? So yeah, let's just have a good laugh, put a good performance out, and speak to you after the Warrington game. Take care of yourselves.
See you all.